How are you going to do the job differently to Robert Jenrick?
Listen, my job this afternoon is in one way relatively simple. I'm going to be standing up for the government, saying this is the toughest piece of legislation. I'm going to be taking second reading, the principle of the bill, through Parliament this afternoon. And I'm very much in listening mode, as you might imagine, as a new Minister in post. And actually, Kay, most people who know me, who have worked with me over the last 8.5 years in Parliament, if they know me for anything, will know me for being hopefully respectful, but certainly listening and constructive. And that's the way I intend to engage and act as Minister.
So how are you going to behave differently to Robert Jenrick?
Well, I'm going to be, I hope, professional. I hope I'm going
Was
to
he
be...
not? No,
I hope I'm going to be professional and as a minister. Listen, can I just address straightforwardly? I was very sorry to see that Rob, my colleague, resigned. I worked incredibly closely with him. I think he worked incredibly hard. I think he did a tough job as I'm finding out now in my first week within the job. He did it incredibly well and incredibly thoroughly, and I want to continue the hard work that he did. This is his bill that he produced. Yes, he says he wants it to be tougher, and I want to listen to that, and I want to be constructive, and that's the way I'm going to conduct myself.
So how are you going to do the job differently to how he did it?
Well, I hope he did his job professionally, and I'm going to do my job professionally as well.
So you're going to do it in exactly the same way as he did?
No, I'm going to be doing it in my way, Kay.
Because, and how does that differ?
Well, because I'm a different person, because I bring my own perspective, because I bring my own experience. Listen, I've worked with colleagues right across our parliamentary party. I heard you reading out some of the headlines earlier on. I've worked right across the parliamentary party throughout my time in Parliament. I'm going to constructively engage. That's part of who I am. That's my modus operandi, if you like. That's the way I work. And I'm going to bring my own skills, my own gifts, such as they are. I'm going to bring them to the table and work as hard as I can to the best of my ability to support the Prime Minister in this priority of stopping the boats.
How are you going to get those pesky rebels on board?
They're not pesky rebels. They are respected colleagues whom I have worked with. Listen, I was once in the ERG myself. I know the concerns that colleagues have. I know the desire of colleagues right across the breadth of our broad church of the parliamentary party. What do they want? They want this bill to work. The way I'm going to help to persuade them to support the bill and to support us as we pass the bill through Parliament is to help show that the bill is actually going to work, because that's what we all want. We all want this legislation to work, and that is what I'm determined to do.
I'm right in saying you're a King's Counsel as well?
That is right. In my previous role, I was His Majesty's...
So what are the main challenges facing the bill?
What are the main challenges facing the bill? They're as much political as they are legal. It is right.
What are the legal challenges? The
legal challenges are that this is one of the toughest pieces of legislation that's ever been brought in. That is absolutely right. There is no other legislation in relation to illegal migration that's been brought in that is as tough as this. That is a challenge. What is another challenge? Another challenge is that it's aiming to meet the concerns of the Supreme Court that delivered their judgment on the 15th of November. Of course, that is a challenge. You said that I was a King's Counsel. That's right. I was more than that. I was His Majesty's Solicitor General. I was a law officer. I was a government legal advisor, and in my role, of course, you'd expect me to treat the court with respect. I do.
May I ask you that then?
Yes, of course,
Given that you are all of those things that you've outlined, thank you for explaining that further.
No.
Does it sit completely comfortably with you to bring in a new piece of legislation that is specifically designed to overrule the Supreme Court?
Yes, it does, because what it is doing is it's listening respectfully to that judgment of the Supreme Court. It's saying, yes, we hear and we understand your concerns. And I'm going to get a little bit technical here, but the main concern of the Supreme Court was about refoulement, was about the onward movement of people from the country of Rwanda. And what you saw in the treaty that was published last week was that legal block to stop anyone being removed from Rwanda. And that is what unlocks this puzzle. That is the difference, and respectfully, that is the key difference between the position now and the position when the Supreme Court looked at it. But this will be Parliament looking at it. This will be Parliament determining that Rwanda is safe, and courts are very respectful of Parliament when clear legislation is passed.
And to make sure that happens in Rwanda and make it a safe place, which of course is actually what the Supreme Court was most worried about, do we send lawyers, British lawyers, down to Rwanda?
Listen, that's already been happening. We have a High Commission in Kigali. We have Home Office officials and lawyers who have been travelling between the countries, as you would expect. The Home Secretary himself was in Rwanda. I know that teams both from the Home Office and legal teams from the Attorney General's office, my old department, have been working very closely on this. So yes, and if you look carefully at the treaty, there is also ongoing monitoring. This isn't just a once standalone. There's ongoing monitoring, a monitoring committee. There is a joint committee. This is an ongoing piece of work. Respected international partners having an ongoing treaty, and that is really, really important.
And those that say lawyers from the UK going down to Rwanda to mark their homework has a whiff of colonialism about it?
No, not at all. Actually, I've been rather frustrated by the criticisms of Rwanda as a country. I myself have been to Rwanda. I was there, albeit a long time ago, and for only a very short period. I've been very frustrated and distressed at the picture that's been painted about the wonderful country of Rwanda.
It's not. Let me just illustrate that a little bit further for my guests, of my viewers this morning. The Democratic Republic of Congo's leader has compared his Rwanda counterpart as Adolf Hitler.
Yes, there are various ways of describing, and that's one. That's not one that I recognise. That's not one that our country recognises. This is
next door neighbour.
That's right. This is a respected international party that complies with their international obligations, as do we. This is a treaty. This will be a legal treaty that we're going to bring into law. It's work that we've worked on for a number of years, and I have been frustrated, actually, as I know the Rwandans have as well, because they are trusted. They're an international partner. And we're going to make this work.
It's cost us, what, £290 million so far. What have we got for that?
That's not actually right. It is less than that,
but
it is a lot lot of money. And let me answer. The 50 million that you're talking about hasn't yet been paid.
So 240 million. That's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
What have we got for it?
It is a lot of money, and actually not acting is costing a lot of money as well.
What have we got for that 240?
What have we got is we've got a treaty, and we have got a bill, and we've got a system that we're going to get up and running. If we do not act,
but we haven't got a place that we've sent refugees to.
If we do not act,
you want to call them.
If we do not act, if we do not make this system work, if we do not set it up, then I agree it will have been a waste of money. But it is not, because we are actually. What is a waste of money? £8 million a day spent on hotels, nearly £3 billion a year. And can I just address this? Because this is the moral issue of our time. It's not just the monetary cost, it's the human cost as well. Those people taking those dangerous trips across the channel, those people who are dying crossing the channel, it is a moral issue. It is not just a financial cost, it is a moral cost. And that's the argument I hope to make this afternoon.
£240 million. Not one person has been sent to Rwanda as yet. If nobody goes, this is going to be the sinking of your government.
This bill is going to be debated this afternoon. This bill will unlock the scheme and make the scheme work. And frankly, when it's up and running, people will see that it does work, it is a deterrent, and it will stop people dying in the channel. That is my aim. That's what we're going to do. There
are other ways of doing that apart from sending people to Rwanda, of course.
Well, actually, we've heard nothing from the opposing parties as to what they should do. There have been no.
Yeah, when they're sat there, I ask them the questions. I'm asking you, if I may, please, representing the government this morning. You acknowledge that if the planes don't go, it will have been a waste of money.
No, because the planes
are... You did say that a moment ago.
No, the planes are going to go. It is going to work. The scheme is going to work. I'm very much in listening mode to colleagues, as you would expect. But we're going to have a robust debate this afternoon. The bill will pass through. This afternoon is the second reading. It's the first stage, if you like, the first important moment in that debate. But there will be other debates as we go on.
The Prime Minister must be absolutely terrified about what might happen this afternoon. Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't have those rebels in for croissant or whatever they're having this morning, bacon butties, I don't know.
The Prime Minister is determined to see this work. And actually, I don't see them as rebels. I see them as respected colleagues that I have worked with throughout my 8.5 years in Parliament, and I will continue to work with them to make sure that this bill is a success.
How would you describe them if they rebel against the bill?
I would describe them as respected colleagues, and I am in listening mode.
Against the bill?
I will continue to listen. Kay, listen, if colleagues know me for anything, they will know me for being constructive, I hope, and for being respectful, and I will continue to be that to all colleagues.
You must acknowledge that the Prime Minister is anxious about what might happen today.
The Prime Minister is determined to make sure that this
bill
works
anxious as
and
well,
succeeds.
Though. Otherwise, he wouldn't have them there, would he? He's a very busy man who doesn't need all these people sat round the cabinet table or wherever they are.
Kay, I'm here, I'm sitting talking to you, and the Prime Minister is determined to see this policy through, as am I. I'm the Minister that you rightly say, representing the government. I'm determined to see this policy through.
And if he loses today, that's the first time since the 1980s that a bill has not made it through on the second reading.
Listen, we're going to listen respectfully to colleagues, and we're going to pass...
There's a lot of respect going on this morning, isn't there?
There is with me all the time, not just this morning, but all the time, and we're going to pass this bill this afternoon.
OK. And if you don't?
We're going to pass it this afternoon.
And if you don't?
Watch and see. You can see the debate. Watch. I'll be up at about 10 to 7 this evening. I'll be on my feet at this dispatch box, making the argument for the government. And having listened to colleagues, I hope to be able to persuade them to come through the division lobbies with me this evening.
And if you don't?
OK, I think we will.
And if you don't?
You've asked me that question a number of times. I've given my answer. I'm fairly straightforward, and the answer's the same.